Hey guys, job I've got to do tonight. These belts are a bit stretched. This one's not so bad, but this one a bit loose, starting to slip a bit on that pulley. Probably not enough to worry it. I can still part off okay, but wants a bit out of it, so I might tighten them up. So I might do a video on that. And some people might be interested in the procedure and what's involved in doing it. So there's the joiner, and I slipped that pin out of there, and we'll cut a bit off the end of the belt and we'll shorten him up. So we've got the belt off, and there's the ends. Poor old thing gets pretty dirty. It hasn't been on there that long. It's done a bit of work. It's a rubberized belt. I'm going to do what Keith Fenner says and go ahead and chop that much off the end of it now. That's about probably 3/8 to ½ inch. I'll chop that off there and we'll put a new end on it. So there we go, that's a fresh end. That's the other one. Now the thing we've got to be careful of is when we line this up, you see it there, one set of pins is offset one way, and one set of staples is offset one way, and one set of staples is offset the other way. So we've got to offset them. So we've got to remember that when we do it. Now I'll get the belt splicing machine out and we'll have a look at that. Now, here we go. This is a vice machine. It's a clipper lacing belt splicer. It's got it written on there if you have a look. Clipper belt lacer. Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is a few years old. It's got a pin in here, and it's got a place for the staples to go. So that goes in our vise, which is over here. Like so. And now this is a box of clipper fasteners, number 2, and G for galvanised. These aren't real expensive. What you've got to watch when you're buying them is that this one says without pins, and most of them are sold without pins. So you need pins for the first time you set it up. And if we look in here, they're plastic coated. I think they used to be catgut, but they're plastic of some sort now. And that's so the staples grip in and the pin doesn't fall out. So that's what it looks like. Focus on that there. Probably not. It's got a steel insert up the middle of it, and it's plastic coated. So you need pins, and they've got to be number 2 as well, or whichever size you need for your belt thickness. Number 2 is for, I think, 1/8 to 3/16 belts, so it's just the thing for this one. So these are galvanised. I'm sure there's stainless or something else if you can find them. It's a matter of whatever you can buy. This is a new box, and they're 300mm long or something, and 12-inch, which is seriously too long. for most belts, but I guess if you run a 12-inch flat belts, they're a handy thing. Now this is what it looks like. We've got the staples and they're joined together with a bit of paper. So they go in the machine, and we'll have a look at the belt. Here like this is the other end of the belt. And we've got to work out how many we need, which is that many staples. So we'll get the scissors and we'll go ahead and we can go right ahead and we'll cut that through there on that side and through there on the other side, and I usually just fold them back like that and cut them again. So there's the bit of belt lacing, and we put the rest back in the box. Try and get a bit closer here. It's in the tripod and it's really not the shape. But if we wind this out, and we take this pin out, then we can put a bit of belt lacing in there like that. The staples in the grooves nicely. You might have to wiggle that a bit to get it to fit in, but it will go in there nice and flush like that. And put the pin through, which holds it all in place in the right spot and at the right depth. That's fixed in there now. And some people say Mr. Pete, who's Tubal Cain, says to leave the bit of paper on there and just tear the perforations out, but I don't see why you can't just take the paper off. I've always done that, and that way you don't have a bit of paper going around on the end of your belt. So there they are. We'll put that back in the vise, just right like that. Now we're going to need a square. There, like that, to get the belt nice and square. And we'll have another look at this. Make sure it's not crossed over too many times, so that we know that the staple's got to be on this side of the belt. So that's fairly straightforward. The secret is to put that together like that. We can start to do it up a bit. Now if we cut it nice and square, which is important, we shouldn't have any trouble getting this square. If we line it up like that, and just make sure I use a combination square, but I think originally this machine had a little square on a chain the same as the pin, and one day I might make that if I can find one to copy, because it'd be a useful thing to have one with it. So we get that nice and square there like that. And we'll do them up. Now we can slip the pin out when it's done up, and that's not quite clinched together, so I'm going to have another go at that. Put him back in there. Look, it's just a little bit wide, so I'm going to put him back in there, and we'll put the pin back through. and give him just a little bit more. Doesn't need a lot of pressure. There we go. That's the new belt splice. If we put this back together like this, and that goes together like that with the pin through it. Nice and even on this side and this side. And we're set. I'll put him back on the machine. So there we go, we've joined both of them up again, back on the machine. This is a nice job. It's fairly tight. I had to run him back on after I joined it, but that's how it wants to be probably. It was starting to slip a bit. That's about 3/8 of an inch out of there, so that should be good. And this one might be a fraction too tight, but it'll soon stretch in. We did manage to get the clipper lace up round the wrong way, so we'll live with that for a bit until it stretches a bit more. Maybe if it's going to stretch a bit more, I think it will. And you've got to be careful and check that, but I did check it against the piece that I cut off, not the opposite end, so that's why we were wrong. So my mistake, but we'll get it all back together. So there we go, it's new belts. I'll start him up. Come up to speed there. And move him across on the fast spire side, and this belt is now running off a little bit, which might need some attention, but that's easy adjustable. And everything's nice and tight. We've got some horsepower transmission again. So that's how you do that. Thanks for watching, guys, and hey, give us a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe, and we'll post some more. Thanks.